Volume 3, Friendly Souls. Lurking in the shadow. There are confirmed groups that work in the council that have not yet made a move in Skyrim. Oh, but don't worry, my bloodthirsty loot-herding friend. They will be here soon. SOULGUARD, a band of men and women of all races, dedicated to driving away the bandits in Skyrim by any means possible, including becoming bandits themselves. They create bounded weapons since they believe that the strongest weapon is their own power. Formed from twin brothers who watched their family home burned by bandits, it is unknown why they have succumbed to banditry. Advantages: can summon bound weaponry, well versed in all aspects of battle. Weaknesses: question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Discarded hordes of refugees that banded together because they lost their homes to have a war or raids. They believed that the world had abandoned them and at first given up hope. The most charismatic of the refugees took advantage of such moment and convinced the others to steal, plunder, and kill for survival. Advantages: stats, spares, and perks are very powerful. Weakness: weak weapons and almost no armor. For Second Order, a group of Talos worshippers that feel abandoned by their god. A silver-tongued bandit lord tricked them into believing that by plundering the current halls, the priests gained vengeance on the god that abandoned them. Not much fighter. They assist of a bandit by healing them. Advantages: has a healing aura that slowly heals allies. Weakness: no armor, high priority target. Clan SINITH. Dunmer clan mob based in Morrowind who want to spread their influence into Skyrim and abusing the country as much as possible. Now with the civil war going on, the clan decided that was a perfect opportunity to get in. So they took in the local bandit gangs, trained them to become clan guard material, and told them to plunder in the clan's name. Advantages: has access to good armor to the weaker ones. Semi-diverse crew. Weakness: only a few have access to full armor sets. Stickley, a cult of plague-ridden savages who pretend to be priests of Arche promoting good health, but instead spreads many diseases as much as they can. Those people infected by the group's disease tend to also join up which borders numbers. Advantages: spitting attacks can cause multiple diseases. Weakness: disease immune adventurers have less trouble with them. SERPENTI, a team of archaeologists found an archival tomb that was filled with the spirits of ghosts and great people. These ghosts took control of the bodies of the exploration team and plans to spread their influence for their nameless serpent king. Advantages were blades, armor, and weapons made dual with. Can be easily outgeared by seasoned adventurers. World Eater. If the Greybeards were the light, the World Eaters would be the darkness. Masters of the Voice, they are sure that the end of the world is coming and actively causing chaos all over Skyrim. They have agents all over the bandit horde to recruit the bandit to their cause. Advantages: can use the voice, powerful mages. Weakness: no armor. Deceiver. A nobody bandit found a trove of robes that were as strong as the thickest of armor. He used such armor to defeat his chieftain and take over his gang. The bandit then proceeded to share his trove and told this man to plunder. The deceivers tricked many travelers and adventurers in the hopes that they would kill a lightly armored opponent. Advantages: wears armored robes, carry enchanted daggers, may catch sneaky archers off guard. Weakness: are not really too tough, only initially catches you off guard. LAVIAN CABAL. Cyric LAVIAN is a vampire lord who has a small army of vampires at his disposal. He is very insistent to retain his humanity as best as possible, so he began his reign by integrating his vampire coven into bandit society. The other bandits groups are very tolerant of these monsters, especially during night raids against lawful of Skyrim. Advantages: vampire powers. Weakness: vampire weaknesses. Possessed. There once was a no-name bandit gang who found a Daedric shrine that had no patron god. A Dremora popped right out of the shrine and began brainwashing the bandits. Those who were brainwashed were still very much the same, but they served the Dremora now, and he gave them the gift to turn allies into frenzied fools that strike their own teammates. Advantages: can cause adventurous allies to go berserk and attack allies. Weakness: not too useful when adventurers go solo. HEXER. Godless heathens that believe that it is their duty to destroy the temples of the gods and all who worship their kind. All the HEXERs are very capable mages, but they excel in hindering and weakening their enemies. Most of the HEXERs' spells involve slowing down their opponents, while the HEXERs alike kill them. Advantages: cause lots of stun and knockback spell. Weakness: are not too dangerous alone, no armor. VALIAN'S DUELIST. Followers of Valian, a legendary gladiator who left a legacy of glory and blood. In reality, Valian cheated his way to the top using tongues, poisons, and blackmail. He and his fighting style is still very formidable, so when he retired from the arena, he set out to create his own bandit gang, who he thought to fight as well as he did. Advantages: very tanky, high defense, blocks a lot. Weakness: low amount of vitality, no defenses against spells. Decayed Druid. Druids of Skyrim that notices the anger of the forest and the foolishness of sentient kind, they have decided that anyone who attacks and destroys the holds and their destructive weights are allies in protecting the forest. Bandits, who are famous for killing and slaughtering whole towns, fit the criteria for ally quite nicely for them. They have the power to summon animal spirits, and the more powerful druids can even summon spriggans. Advantages: summon animal or creature guards. Weakness: not too powerful by themselves. GHOUL. Ex-followers of Namira who hunt and feast on the flesh of people for their own sake. Namira, angered by their arrogance, cursed them to be sickly looking and pale. They don't seem to mind, as this indicated who was one of them and who was food. Other bandits only seemed to stomach their company because they were zealous fighters and were very good at getting rid of bodies. Advantages: deals a lot of damage and causes bleed damage. Weakness: no armor. Doomsayer. Some people finally fell into despair due to their families being butchered like pigs or being publicly shamed in front of their peers and everything in between. These people are determined to repent their sins by screaming to others that they also must repent, as the end of times are coming. A sign of the dragons returning? The Doomsayers see this as a sign of the end times and gladly joined up with Bandits, for they are a force of destruction, and that's all that is coming to the world. Advantages: always deal tons of damage, always two-handed weapons, some are enchanted, tons of health, no armor. Liberation: Skyrim Liberation Organization. Many of the minority races feel unrepresented in Skyrim, so to help support their fellows, they created a group that shows awareness. The organization was persecuted by the ignorant people of Skyrim and was quickly destroyed by them. The survivors are bitter towards the north and have a new purpose: to pillage the lands of Skyrim and all who live there. Their stomach hover bandits as they share the need to pillage the lands. Advantages: double damage against Nords, effective guard killers, very bad enemy when bandits are raiding towns. Weakness: kind of average against any other race. Chosen of Skyrim. A radical faction of Skyrim that believes that the time to remove all those who were not Nord out of Skyrim was now. They lost a lot of support after the rumors of the rituals where they removed the hearts of other races and mount their heads on the walls. They now hide live amongst bandits who tolerate them, since the Chosen fights with more ferocity when they see other races. Advantages: extra damage against non-Nord foes. Weakness: very average against Nord. Cult of the Ghost Knight. There once was a bandit king who once was a knight. This king was honorable and only raided over bandits' camps or those who attacked his gang. When he was killed by his second in command, the king came back as a ghost and slaughtered his killer and his collaborators. The remaining followers worship the ghost as a god and follows in his footsteps by using magic to look ghostly. Advantages: heavy armor, may frighten allies when struck by them. Weakness: slightly stronger than regular bandits. Legend of Masters. A sect of warriors who strive to become the best weapons expert ever. They achieve ranks by killing as many people as they can with their weapons and bringing back their schools as proof of their endeavor. Many of them join up with bandits to hone their skills and have a nearly never-ending supply of schools to return home with. Advantages: masters of all weapons will deal tons of damage even at low level. Weakness: no armor. Ranged weapons will be preferred. Feast of the Stunning Blade. A group of martial art monks were once traveling through Skyrim, where they were slaughtered by a gang of bandits. Within the loot, there was a book, mainly covered with blood, that described the various fighting styles of the monks. The only style not covered in blood was the Feast of the Stunning Blade. The bandits mastered this fighting style and now use it to cause mayhem across Skyrim. Advantages: will stun you with each power attack, may even get worse if the bandit finds a weapon. Weakness: no armor. Initially does not have a weapon due to bandits' hubris. Weary. A group of war-weary veteran adventurers that would like to find a good death from combat. These whole but battle-hardened individuals joining up with bandits to find a worthy individual to slay them. Unfortunately, this did nothing to help them find peace, as these individuals still fight to the fullest extent of their skill and made the bandit believe raiding is much more profitable than before. Advantages: great stats all around, very dangerous fools, higher level than most bandits. Weakness: Rare, the most seasoned adventurers are worthy of fighting them. Rare, the most seasoned adventurers are worthy of fighting them. Low health due to age. Forsaken, splinter group of the Forsworn, either because they were kicked out in hiding from guards, decided Forsworn was not their thing, recruiting bandits to Forsaken cause, etc. These savages threw their lots with the bandits, for they are much better equipped and more profitable in raids. They still insist on wearing tribal clothing, however. They no longer believe in the Forsworn, but they believe in its message and cause. Advantages: one of the most diverse bandit gangs out there. Weakness: little armor and weaker weaponry. Silverhand: most of the Silverhand's roots come from being bandits, so they spread out to the local bandit halls to recruit new members and to hunt solo or in smaller groups. Since a lot of the Silverhand came from bandits, they are usually welcomed back to their holds with open arms. Of course, if they slaughter a werewolf along the way, then that is icing on the cake. Advantages: werewolves take much more damage from silver weapons. Weakness: only carries silver weapon, can be out with gear quickly. Drinker: set of curse ring that drain the life of not the wearer, but anyone who the wearer perceives as a threat. When the drinker kills a person this way, he gets another ring to spring onto the dead's hand. The body comes back to life, like nothing happens, and becomes the servant of the original ring bearer. No one knows who created these rings, but their influences are spreading, and by creating allies with the local bandit gangs, they have no trouble finding new victims to bolster their own ranks. Advantages: being around them drains magicka and health. Weakness: not much tougher than normal bandits. WITCHHUNTER, group that hunt mages specifically. The witch-hunters believe that all of Skyrim's woods comes from magic and will lynch anyone that believes otherwise. They pull from the ignorant masses of those who lost family from magical accidents. They learned how to become a bit more resistant to magical assaults and learn a way to drain magicka away from the spellcaster's body, making them weak and useless against the blades of the witch hunters. They tolerate bandit mages for now, due to the fact that they want to kill everyone including other mages, so for now they are aligned. Advantages: quickly destroys opponent's magicka, resistant to spells. Weakness: dangerous only to mages, warriors won't have too much problem. DAWNWARDEN, splinter groups of the Dawn Guard who decided that the best way to prevent vampires' attacks is to kill everyone in the villages where a vampire was found. Of course, the Dawn Guard will not have anything like that in their ranks, so they destroyed the splinter groups. The survivors still have all their vampire hunting skills, as well as loyal animals companions that hunt in their names. Advantages: still massive damage to vampires, as crossbows can have husky or armored troll companions. Weakness: not too effective against non-vampire adventurers. Trolls are only encountered by stronger adventurers. Feral, a tribe of werewolves that tries to hide their monstrous forms by hiding away in bandit camps. If they are cornered, they transform into angry werewolves that only attacks the enemy. These tame werewolves are accepted into bandit ranks since they make great shock troops, since they can always call the Silverhand to take care of such animals if they get out of hand. Advantages: can transform into werewolves. Weakness: if killed quickly, they will not become werewolves. Spinner: these bandits were once giant spiders farmers who raised their spiders to be both peaceful and productive towards civilized people. One day, a group of adventurers set fire to a cave where the majority of the spinners' spiders resided. The spiders that survived scuttled out of the cave by a nearby town and were then slaughtered by the townfolk. The spinners, now left without protection or income, were devastated, and there was little to no way of coming back from such a loss. The chieftain of the group decided that the only way to survive was to retain the remaining spiders for battle, learn forbidden spiders-based magic, and plunder those who do not understand the importance of displaced creatures. Advantages: well versed in all spider-based magic and spider poisons. Weakness: honored warriors. Host of Thieves. This is a loose organization of thieves that operates inside of towns, cities, and civilized places. They have no problems with attacking people in plain sight. In fact, they relish in it, only running away when they are very injured. Most of these thieves are thrill seekers and more interested in the thrill of killing an innocent person over stealing their items. These bandits are way more dangerous to town people than to adventurers, so you may want to keep loved ones safe and armored. Advantages: appears in towns and cities, are extremely hostile to town people. Weakness: town guards are on the lookout for such thieves. Blackheart: these are always fools that fight for money. Usually, mercenaries are the front line of anyone willing to pay them to bolster their forces. No one cares if they live or die as long as they fight. Some of these fools refuse to die and are way more formidable than their buyers intended. The Blackhearts are famous for being incredible swordmen who always complete their jobs. What their reputation doesn't show is that they also kill off their buyers and replace them with someone that they can control. This brings fame and fortune to the mercenaries, but that doesn't stop them from plundering and killing if they wish. And they wish a lot. Advantages: seasoned fighters that are masters of bladed combat. Weakness: usually carries one sword. Adventurers can cut them through their weapons. Armorbreaker. Smithing in Skyrim is booming business. The war has caused many smiths to drop whatever they were doing and focus on making weapons and armor. Some did not. One particular smith refused to make weapons that would be used for bloodshed. This smith was famous for finding weak spots in armor and improving it. Eventually, someone kidnapped his family and left a note to start making armor for the war. After months of hard work, the adventurer the smith hired to find the family returned only to say that his family was murdered. A Stormcloak axe was in his only son's school, and an Imperial Gladius in his wife's belly. In a rage, the smith slew the adventurer, gathered all the armor he created, and fled his village. A few weeks later, there was a new crew of bandits that knew exactly where to strike to get past their opponent's armor, slaughtering anyone in their way, especially Stormcloaks and Imperial camps. Advantages: knows exactly where to strike to ignore their target's armor. Extremely dangerous if there are multiple opponents. Weakness: lower armored and extremely armored adventurer has little to worry about, are not too threatening alone. Mad Blaster. Some mages like to learn the healing art. Some mages love to transmute one item to another. Others like to learn the secrets of magic to harness its power. Mad Blasters like to blow things up. Anything that goes boom is like music to this sect of mages' ears. Of course, such a destructive practice will almost always be kicked out of any places of the study of magic. Luckily, for the Mad Blasters, they find comfort in the fact that blowing people up makes all their anger go away for a couple of minutes at a time. Advantages: they like the enemies like they like their spell exploding. Weakness: basic mage weaknesses plus chance to hit allies in their own blast. Diamondbound. Bandits are very boastful people, but the most boastful of them all are the Diamondbound, always bragging about how no one can harm them through their thickened skin and heavy armor. Although there is some truth in their boast, they are extremely annoying to work with and normally get into fights with other groups. In hand-to-hand combat, the Diamondbound will win too, making him even more annoying. Advantages: high resistance to physical weapon. Weakness: regular to low resistance to everything else. GOLDBREAKER. A radical group of bandits that believe that money is the source of all evil in the world and will go out of their way to destroy the evil gold and restore order and harmony to the world by force. Obviously insane. Unfortunately, they developed a way to strike people and target their coins instead of blood, which make them really dangerous to the penny-pinching adventurer. Advantages: can and will destroy your gold. Weakness: that's all they can do. DEATHBRINGER. There are always those willing to risk their lives for the ideas that they believe in. Then there are the Deathbringers. Bandits so crazy and suicidal that they enchanted their weapon to deal extreme amounts of damage in exchange of their lives. The mage that taught them this enchantment told them that it wasn't necessary to add in the exchange for their life path, but they felt it was needed. Advantages: deal tons of damage for one strike. Weakness: immediately dies after one attack. SAPPER. Warriors that excels at weakening their opponents to prevent them from performing well in battle. These bandits relies on others to help ensure the kill while they focus on disabling their opponents. These fighters carry their secret of this skill to the grave, but it is said that this ability was very common hundreds of years ago. Advantages: lower abilities to a point. Weakness: that's all they can do, may target wrong skill that adventurer excel at. Banisher. These are a sect of vigilants that pulled away from the main group due to the belief that they were not going anywhere. At least with the bandits, they can hurt those with the draw a bit more often. At least with the bandits, they get rewarded for their kills. At least with the bandit, they can kill those that wrong them without any fear of penalty or judgment. Advantages: banish undead and summon creature. Weakness: no armor, not really effective against anything else. Inspired. These bandits were downtrodden citizens of Skyrim who found joy and leadership under a silver-tongued cone artist that made them do everything he commanded. Eventually, these people realized that they were being tricked and slaughtered the cone artist. Amongst his things lay a book that taught the reader how to control others to do their bidding without remorse and fanatism. The people decided to use this power to control others, and those that did not agree were also slaughtered or controlled. Bandits loved these guys due to fighting spirit that these people give to their gangs. Advantages: power up fellow bandits. Weakness: power up not effective on the bandit itself. Restless: bandits that are so worried about their lives after a rival gang starting whipping them out that they turn it to a necromancer for help. The necromancer was testing out a way to revive someone immediately after they died. It worked perfectly, but only once. This was both a scare tactic and a hard for the group, and they drove off the enemies. The bandits then thanked the necromancer by stabbing him in the front instead of the back. Advantages: when killed, it will revive. Weakness: you can loot his body quickly before they revive to make it extremely weak. Worm: whatever remains of one necromancer from hundreds of years ago, they have learned a new spell that allowed them to summon a draugr of great strength and power. Unfortunately, this draugr is cowed and easily susceptible to fear spells and banishes. Advantages: create an immortal draugr that cannot be killed in normal ways. Weakness: usual mage weaknesses. Draugr can be turned away using the weakest turn undead spell. Fallen Kingdom: these knights come from a kingdom that I am not sure if it exists or not. It's strange, but they constantly raid and attack villages and towns in the name of some weird place that probably doesn't even exist. Bandits love their company too, since they can stand up on the front lines for a long period of time due to their zealous nature. Advantages: immune to fear and frenzy. Weakness: average fighter. Crow: fallen paladins that hates the undead but hates the living much more. They believe that bandits are the incarnation of people destroying themselves, as they join the bandits in hopes to kill off as many people as they can. They are prone to nursing fallen allies and foes, so they may kill them again after the fight is over. Advantages: paladin class. Fight in heavy armor and weapons, heal, can revive allies, not extremely powerful at anything. Duster: dust mages from Morrowind. I have no idea why they like dust so much, but they seem to excel at turning burned material into dangerous spells. There are no known resistances to ashes beside base magic resistance, which make them a bit more dangerous than the warlocks of Skyrim in my opinion. Mastered advantages: mastered ash magic, will summon ash critters and use ash magic. Weakness: archmages. MAMMOTHBRUTE: big musclehead bandit. That brain is the size of a walnut, but has the strength of a giant. They like to knock around smarter people to make themselves feel better. They considered making it into a competition, but they did not have the needed brain power to make it an actual pastime. They were so frustrated about this that they knocked around smarter people, which they considered to make it into a competition. And the cycle continues. Advantages: when hit with a power attack, adventurers will be knocked into the air and will be vulnerable to attacks. Weakness: dodged easily and are very slow compared to most bandits. Void: no one knows who these guys are or what they are after. They mainly try to take their share of the loot and leave. They can strike people and make them unable to fight back using strange magics. Other bandits tend to not question what is happening. Advantages: when hit with a power attack, adventurers will become ethereal, enabling them to attack, but still allowing them to be attacked. Weakness: it won't work if they are killed. Rather, cultists of a full unknown god. These bandits carry a strange disease that will actually kill people quickly and horribly. Carriers of this plague are considered blessed by the cult and are both revered and avoided. Advantages: give off a devastating disease that will eventually kill off people if not cured. Weakness: immune to disease, adventurers need not to worry. Brotherhood of Masks. The most loyal servant of the workman gang, Wolf Tig, had a following of men and women who wore the masks carved from the doors they created. Through this, they created marks of power that imbue skills of all kinds. Vortig created a mask that only his master, Vok, can wear and imbue his soul into it, making him weak and powerless in the process. Vok was disgusted that Vortig abandoned his post as second in command of his forces, and as punishment was forced into the mask that he created. Vok split the mask into other masks to give the Vortig followers to make them into loyal shock troops. So Vortig's soul is still loyal to Vok's orders, but if the true mask is worn by someone other than his master, the soul will rip the wearer to shreds. Advantages: has mask of power, one for each skill type. If combined, it will create a mask of pure power, but will summon Vortig's soul to fight for the control of the mask. Weakness: most members have weaker masks which are not combinable. RIEKLING friend. There are many people who hate RIEKLINGs, and for some reason these bandits love them. These bandits made friends with these little weirdos and can bring them to battle at will. Not going to pretend to understand this, but it's fine with them if they can put up with the smell. Advantages: has little RIEKLING buddies to back them up. Weakness: RIEKLING arc not that strong. Witch: all female group wishing to become Hargravens, not sure why, but that's what this group wants. Has the support of the Forsaken, who are in league with the Hargravens, and the witches can summon Hargravens to help out in dangerous situations. Advantages: she'll turn you into a new. She'll turn you into, I don't know. All female spellcasters can also call in Briar's Heart and Hargravens. Weakness: you get better, usual much weakness. CLOAKER: there are many different artists and designers in the world. Some create great works of art, others make great clothing or armor of intricate designs. CLOAKERs make outfits that freeze, burn, or sap people to death. These magical artisans have no qualms about murdering people that get too close to their work. In fact, they love to see how long people can survive. They believe that they create beautiful art, so beautiful that you can die from it. Advantages: uses all sorts of magic cloak to damage enemy. Weakness: no armor, arrows, and spell effective against cloak spells. WINTERFANG: these bandits are nothing more than normal bandits that pillage and burn the land. The difference is that these guys are good at it. You can almost say that these guys are experts in the banditry. They have been out there for so long that they are used to the frost, since all of them go pillaging and looting for days. They may not have any real advantages like the others, but they know their way around most situations. Advantages: high frost resistance, stronger than other bandits. Weakness: no true advantages. Phantasm: illusionists that create a way to create copies of themselves when attacked in battle. The only problem is that they enjoy getting hit, like in a creepy way. They purposely seek out others and provoke them into attacking them. If they do not, they start burning and looting until someone tries to attack them back. Bandits love them. They need people who are willing to do the dirty work for them, even if it's a little weird why they are doing it. Advantages: create copies of themselves when they are hit, has high vitality due to years of self-abuse. Weakness: no armor. Bear Claw: regiment of Stormcloaks that went rogue, but did not join with the unloyal. Instead wants to bring Skyrim back to its more tribal roots, small tribes vying for territories and resources. Bandits are the closest thing to that right now. These men worship bears as the image of what they want to become, and train bears to fight alongside them. Advantages: amazing hand-to-hand fighters with high health and sometimes have bear companions. Weakness: sometimes doesn't have bears companion and not hard hit against armored adventurers. Trollman: to these weirdos, trolls are the best thing ever. To them, trolls are powerful creatures that are capable of ripping people in twain, and they should be worshipped. Another crazy group of Seekers. Like all the Seekers listed here, they have their dangerous ability. In this case, it is the ability to summon a troll to them on death to allow troll to become more powerful. They live and die for the trolls. Advantages: summon a troll on death. Weakness: trolls are not at the same side as bandits. Trolls are not on the same size as bandits. Element: the most exclusive group of warlocks in Skyrim. Elements are masters of summoning all the astronauts they know, the most powerful spells that they can muster, but they use up their power very quickly. This causes them to heavily rely on others to clean up survivors after they unleash their powers upon them. One can join the elements after proving themselves in the other warlock groups by destroying an entire place of study of magic. Advantages: can summon all three astronauts to fight for them. Powerful mages. Weakness: low magicka. The summon lasts for 8 seconds. Jacked. Followers of the mad god Sheogorath that spilled into Skyrim from the Shivering Islands. The transfer into our lands causes some kind of a weird warping of these people and causes them to transform into random creatures after receiving heavy wounds. Since they have trouble working with normal society, bandits allow the jacket into their foes for a chance that they might transform into something dangerous that might help them in the battle, which work as well as losing a shooting contest with a stone wall. Advantages: chance to turn into something dangerous when wounded. Weakness: chance to turn into something stupid when wounded. Booker: someone is looking for books, and not just any books, but spell books. These bandits are trained in spells to recover spell books and hoard them in unknown location. This group were not initially bandits, but they found looting and killing others a quicker way of obtaining the books. Advantages: access to magic worthy of College of Magic residents. Weakness: usual mage weaknesses may have spellbooks to use. Cultists: as the Dragonborn becomes more known to cultists of Solstheim, they see their hero as a threat to their lord, so several of them integrated themselves into bandit society to cause havoc across Skyrim, and they will hopefully defeat the Dragonborn as well. Well versed in the magic their lord has taught them, and are as well trained as the cultists you might see in Solstheim. However, if the Dragonborn have no way of finding them, they won't even bother to show up in Skyrim. Advantages: brings the magical powers of their master's power into Skyrim. Weakness: usual mage weaknesses will not show up if Dragonborn is not aware of Solstheim. Bone Picker: an organized group of grave robbers that trains their members a standardized way of robbing tombs. Since most of the remaining tombs are filled to the brim with undead and some of the best places to loot are necromantic hideouts, these thieves specialize in repel undead magics and fighting against undead in general. Bandit groups love to have a few bone pickers around, as they seem to always find extra gem and jewelry around. Advantages: easily repel undead and deal heavy damage against undead foes. Might only have bones. Weakness: not useful in other situations. Have gem looted from last tomb raid. Hated bandit: sometimes there is just this one guy that nobody likes. It's not what he or she did to anyone, it's just nobody liked this guy, and adventurers will find themselves lucky the bandits were taking each other out instead of villages and innocents. Advantages: none will go after adventurers if all other bandits are dead. Weakness: one less bandit to worry about. Lucky. The bandits of Skyrim. It took some time, eh?